I'm watching a lot of YouTube because there's still so much that I want to learn about parenting and motherhood and faith and, keeping a home and having routines and systems. I'm still super jazzed about all of that. So I want to say the first person that I really am inspired by, and I don't even know when I found her. I think it's been like less than a year though, but I've watched pretty much all of her videos. Her name is...
Hi, I'm Emmy. I'm 2. Welcome to Race, Giggles, and Growing Pains by Mommy and my daddy, Jenn and Brandon Rogers.
Hey everybody, we're going to do a couple things kind of different today. The first, which if you're on YouTube you might notice, is that Jenn and I have swapped seats.
Mm-hmm. I did not like that angle.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a trade-off because the lighting is, I think, better on this side, and we have to use artificial lighting to get that side brightened up, but it's still dark. But yeah, we all have our angles, right? Unfortunately, I'm taking the hit on this one because I think my other ankle's better, but happy wife, happy life.
Exactly, or no podcast.
Or no podcast. Yeah, one of the things we want to talk about today is the things that have been inspiring us, whether it's the people or the ideas. I think we're going to kind of narrow it to the people, right? Mm-hmm. And generally, these are people that we're kind of following online mm-hmm. on YouTube, where most things are happening in the mm-hmm. world. So that's going to be the general theme of the podcast. But mm-hmm. before we get started, I do want to kind of warm us up and ask you, my lovely wife, this past week, what was your highlight of the week?
It's funny you say that because last night I had this thought where it wasn't that long ago, or maybe this was something that was brewing for a long time, but just it felt so fresh that most recently I remember when we were planning to leave our apartment. So where we lived right before we moved into this home, we were talking about what our ideal space would be, right? Like how many bedrooms and this, like the details of it, like having a garage, a laundry room, a loft, and all of these things. And it felt so unattainable. It felt like a bucket list item of when we grow up, whenever that is, when we're real adults, we're going to have this home, this forever home that has all the nooks and crannies that I want, right? To promote the lifestyle that I want us to live. And last night, so Fridays are really special for me because on Saturdays, it's my one day a week where Brandon lets me sleep in. So Fridays, I like to party. And by party, it's like I take my time cleaning and then I'll sit on the couch and just scroll or watch a show or eat something. And I almost try to sleep as late as I can so that I could soak up the sleeping in on Saturday. But recently that's changed too, because before I could sleep until like noon. But I want to say within the last couple I've been wanting to get up earlier, and then the time that I would be sleeping, I want to take that time to clean the house and get things in order without the disruption from the kids. So on Saturdays, Brandon typically takes them out to the park, or they go to Starbucks and have a treat, or they have play dates, and I can just do all the things that I need to do upstairs very peacefully and taking my time and just being more thorough versus getting constantly interrupted when you're trying to do anything with kids, right? So it's such a valuable time for me. And after I did my cleanup last night, I decided to sit on the couch for a little bit before I had to head upstairs and get ready for bed. And it just hit me so hard that we are living in the dream home that we have been talking about. Because before we moved, the apartment we were in, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was a good space for what it was. And the time, as our kids are getting older and wanting to have more space for them to move around, I remember us talking like, ideally, what would the house look like? The house that we really want to live in. And I just could not believe that we are here already. It was like within months of talking about that. And I remember even bringing it up to you, like 4 bedrooms would be nice. But it's like, we laughed at it because it felt so out of reach. Yeah. And I was just thinking like every single time. So what we love about this home is that when you first walk in through the front door, there's a guest bedroom there and there's a bathroom. So when we do have guests, they have their own little space. And then once you go upstairs, it's all of us. Like the master bedroom's up there, the laundry room, the girls' bathroom. The girls have their own double sink. We have the play area, the loft, the girls' bedroom. I don't know if I mentioned, maybe I said girls' bedroom, but I meant the girls' bathroom, the girls' bedroom. So basically, if we have guests, they can have their own space downstairs and they don't have to feel like they're tiptoeing around us. And our whole family's upstairs. So that separation is so beautiful. But because we haven't had guests yet, we have not even touched that guest room since we moved in. And we often forget that we have a whole room in this house that has no purpose right now other than it's just holding a bunch of baby stuff that I need to organize and pack away into our closet. But I'm like, I can't believe we have a whole extra room that it almost feels like Narnia. Like for me, when I think about it, it's like the whole world behind the closet, right?
Yeah.
Where sometimes I'll walk by the bathroom and maybe I'll need to go grab something. I'll open, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a whole room here. Like another couple or another family could essentially be living with us.
Yeah.
Right? And I was just like, that is so incredible. I can't believe this is our reality right now.
Yeah.
And every time we get to go upstairs, I mean, you guys will probably see it if you're watching this on YouTube. We have a little play area here. We call it the animal cage. It's got like a whole bunch of knickknacks and toys. And it's really, the main focus is to contain, especially Izzy, when we're doing stuff around the house. Like whether I'm cooking or I need to run to the bathroom. It's a place where they're enclosed and I don't have to worry about something happening to them. Yeah. But this isn't their main play area. This used to be the main play area in our last home, as well as when we were in Hawaii, when it was just Emmy. That was the main thing. This is where they played. And the fact that we can go upstairs and we have a loft and it's a play homeschool area set up just for them. Every time I go up there and all the windows and the lights hit and the music's playing, it's just, there's like a warmth that washes over me every time without fail. And quite literally too, because that's also the warmest part of the house. So the downstairs can get pretty chilly, but you go up the stairs and you open the baby gate and you walk right into the loft and it's just like a giant blanket of a room, right?
Yeah. And the girls change too when they
oh
get in
my
there.
gosh, they get so excited. And you know, I thought I was going to be a really good toy rotation mom where like I have everything in bins and week 1, we're going to play with this set. And then at the end of the week, I'm going to bring out this. I'm not that. It's just too much maintenance. So I don't even change up the activities and toys up there all that often. But every time we go upstairs, it's like, Izzy just wants to leap out of our arms and just start exploring. You know, Emmy will go and sit and work on something independently. We've got a chalkboard up there now, which was something that I've always wanted growing up. So a chalkboard and a minivan, 2 things I didn't have in my childhood. And, you know, I know where I get it now, my whole orderliness, cleanliness thing. But growing up, almost every home we've lived in, we've had carpet. And my mom and my grandmother were like, oh, we're not getting a chalkboard. It's too dusty. It's messy. And I get that. So I'm like, okay, when I get older, I want to have a chalkboard. We finally got one. Well, I say it's a Christmas present for the girls, but it's really for me. We have one. It's a nice little size. And then I got these special chalks from one brand is Korean, one brand is Japanese, and they're supposed to be dustless chalk. But even the way that it writes on there, it's so, like, I love being in there. The girls love being in there. And the way that it's set up too, I can enclose them because we have baby gates on either side. And then I can go throw in the laundry is like 2 feet away. We have a laundry room. I thought I would have to like be in my 60s, 70s retire to have this like magical laundry room. Yeah. And it's nothing like huge and fancy. It's literally just a room that's just for our washer and dryer. But we have cabinets, we have storage. I have a whole rack that I can dry clothes on. And my gosh, every time I'm walking through this house, I'm so grateful that we get to live here. But last night it just like hit me like a ton of bricks that this dream that felt so far, far away is actually our current reality. Yeah. And that was huge for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you asked me to share a highlight, I'm like, this is easily it. And I feel like every episode we've talked about this home that we've lived in and
that's true.
This mansion and whatever.
Yeah, but it's a big deal because you and I grew up in very dense cities, right? So every room was a multi-purpose room.
Yes.
And basically what you're saying is now, not only do we have like a room for the things with one simple intent, mostly, we have an extra room. Well, that is for the, intent of guests, but it's like, it's still kind of an overflow space. We have an abundance of space and we don't have to kind of like what I do with this podcast. Like as I was setting up, it takes a while to set up this system or this filming area or this mini studio. And I was like, man, I wish I had a room that was just set up so that we can remove that one barrier. Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's one small example of the kind of shift that you've had, because it's New York, Seoul, that's where we grew up. And then even as we got married, we were living in Seoul where it was tiny, and we lived in a decent sized apartment when we first got married. But still,
Okay, think about our first home in Hawaii once Emmy was born. When I think about that, it's laughable now because we were already in a tiny space. It was like less than 500 square feet. And then because you, me, and Emmy were all sleeping in our one bedroom, everything else had to be outside. So literally, if you walked into our living room, you can take one step, you'd be in the kitchen. One step, you're in the living room. One step, you're in Brandon's office because his desk was in the living room. Another step, you're in the dining room. And Emmy, I don't even know how we made any space for her to try to move around. But it stuns me that that was what we were living in. And even then, I was so grateful for that space. But I guess when I think back on it, this size and the layout and everything, like, if you told me even like 2 months ago that we would be here, I would not have believed you or anyone, you know?
That's true.
So it's crazy. Yeah. I love every time I come home, like, I'm so happy to be here. And one of my dreams always too was we love having our family and friends visit. And I've always wanted like a dedicated space for them and not a space where we have to, you know, maneuver things in the office and bring furniture in to make it cozy. Like the fact that we can just set that up and it's just ready to go to host, and they have their own bathroom. And I can't believe my girls have Jack and Jill sinks in their bathroom. That's insane.
Yeah, they really appreciate that, Jack and Jill.
You know what? Okay, so basically right now the left sink is Emmy's. I've got all of Emmy's stuff. And then the right sink is basically mine. So when I'm in there and Emmy's washing her hands, I can wash my hands. It's right by the laundry room. So if I need to go and like quickly remove a stain at the sink, boom. I need to rinse out some microfiber cloths, boom. And I don't have to disrupt Emmy's space. And I'm obsessed with that.
I did really appreciate that when Emmy had to wash her hands and I had to wash my hands.
You didn't have to wait.
I had the space, but also you set up a nice little soap thing too.
Yeah, there's each sink has a soap dispenser. Our master bathroom is insanely big, right? It like gets so cold in there because it's so big. And the space between my sink and Brandon's sink, you could put another sink there. It's crazy.
It's really amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my really long-winded highlight.
Yeah. And you'll probably hear from that again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I love that you really went into some detail there.
What's your highlight for the week?
So I think this week we posted our last podcast, which we filmed 1 million years ago. And
last year. It was so long ago. It literally was last year.
Yeah,
right?
But it was a longer pause than I expected it to be. But I think the publishing of the podcast is more just a mindset shift that I'm trying to have these days. And I've tried to have it for a long time, but essentially what I'm feeling a lot is that it's so easy to consume, right? I mean, it's such a blessing to be able to consume all this content. We're talking about people that we're following on YouTube and what we're gaining from them. And I think that having this internet where information is basically free at this point, it's probably raising the level of what we need to know, right? And education just naturally. But we are definitely in that cycle where it feels good to just consume and watch stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, here's a good example. Screen time is tough for kids, right? Like when they watch too much, if they're binging for a long time, I don't know what that time is. I think we're going to experiment with that now. But like Emmy becomes a grumpy person when she watches too much TV, and it's just not good to be around her. She's just in a space. I don't know how to describe it yet, but I think that tells me that, wow, that's just ingrained in us for whatever reason. If we consume too much, we just become weird. And I think that's what's been happening to me. So the fact that I could finally get this edited, even include like a little, not even just a blog-ish post about the video itself, but to kind of give a mini update about the things that I'm appreciating, it felt like it gave me life. And another cool thing that I'm realizing that I'm starting to internalize is that a lot of the times when you're putting content out there, I mean, while it's good to have this practice of putting something out there, to see it in the light of day and be like, ooh, you know, maybe my thoughts need to be cleaned up. I think that process is really cool. There's another part of it where you have to detach yourself from the outcome, right? Like what people will say, the reactions. There's a disentangling process of your identity from these numbers, right? I mean, there's valuable information in those numbers to be able to learn like, oh, okay, well, people are interested in this topic, or, this is how I can make my ideas more digestible. I mean, these are all, I think, useful things, but it's that maturity of being able to look at it just purely in that sense. That's just built over time. And I think we've got a little bit of practice under our belt, but I do notice that it's better. I'm better about it. I'm taking more joy in the process of crystallizing the ideas and the experiences that I want to remember. So I loved that process, and I want to keep that going for however long I can in whatever ways I can. And that was my highlight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So on to the main topic of the podcast. Who have you been inspired by these days?
I have been watching a lot of YouTube these days because I'm no longer on Instagram. And I kind of left without saying anything. And I left on my birthday, which was at the end of November. So it's been almost 2 months now. And
you didn't even tell me that you left.
I didn't. Yeah.
I remember I was like trying to share content with you through messages, and I was like, why can't I find her? This is so weird. And somehow I eventually did find and was able to send some messages across. But I was like,
I don't know how you found me because I deactivated. Yeah. How did you find me?
I don't know, maybe because we have a thread in our messages, so maybe to just use that. But I was just thinking, why the heck am I not getting these responses from this funny content and material? You always give a reaction or something. But anyway, so you guys are not alone in the disappointment, everybody.
Just it's because I knew that if I told you, you'd be like, why did you do that?
Yeah. So the subject behind that is a topic to be uncovered in a future date. But anyway, all this to say, I'm not the only one disappointed, because I was getting a lot of life from Jen's take on what was happening in our daily life. And, it's sad, but it's for good reason. And hopefully one day Jen will share. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I guess not to be all like mysterious about it. One of the big reasons that I left was during that time. I mean, I guess I'm still in that season. I was in a state of overwhelm. There was a lot that I was trying to manage and figure out, and there were just so many things up in the air. And I found that when I had the free time and I would go on Instagram, a lot of the content that I follow these days is mostly like these moms that I look up to, like these aspirational moms. A lot of them are like homeschooling 6+ children. They're growing chickens and like baking sourdough bread. And I just feel like when I look at them, I'm like...
And running successful businesses.
Oh my gosh,
right?
Yeah, because it's like, okay, you have a YouTube channel, clearly. And I just sometimes have a hard time walking out the door with my 2 children. And so I would look at these moms, I'm like, I want to be this person, I want this. But then I would look at this content and feel so terrible about myself. I was constantly comparing myself to these people. And it's funny because my cousin called and asked, she's like, why did you get rid of Instagram? And I told her, I'm like, yeah, it wasn't good for me. Like just the mental space that I was in. And she was like, you're following the wrong people. Because she's like, yeah, my friends and I look at you and think, oh, you're doing so much. You're such a great mom. And I'm like, I'm not. There's so much more that I want to do that I can't do right now. And I really struggle with that. So that was one part of the reason I decided to take a break. And I knew it wasn't enough for me to just delete the app, because then I could just reinstall it and go back in. And I can find myself falling into that trap. Like I just didn't trust myself to help me get out of that. And so I'm like, okay, this feels right to deactivate it for whatever time, and not to put any pressure on me. Like I should go back. I have to go back. People are wondering how Emmy and Izzy are doing, and all of these voices inside my head. I just didn't like the reason. If I did go back, it would be out of like guilt. Like I need to be showing up and doing this and that. And yeah, I want, when and if I return, I want it to come from a place that feels peaceful and joyful, where I'm excited to share. I'm not there right now. So that's the larger reason. But anyway, I'm watching a lot of YouTube because there's still so much that I want to learn about parenting and motherhood and faith and keeping a home and having routines and systems. I'm still super jazzed about all of that. So I want to say the first person that I really am inspired by, and I don't even know when I found her. I think it's been like less than a year though, but I've watched pretty much all of her videos. Her name is Margaret Matheny. And you know, initially when I saw her, she reminded me so much of Gail, just how she looks. And she was very athletic.
Sorry, so Gail, for context, for those that you don't know, is Gail is my old. So Chad and Gail. Chad is my old boss from Reebok. We have become the best of friends.
The best of friends.
since our time at Reebok. And we have spent 6 Christmases, I believe, with that family.
Yes.
And so they're around our age, a little older. They've got 5 kids, and they're just like this super ultra power couple.
And Gail's been on my channel, and every time she has been, people are like, bring Gail back. Like they want to hear her wisdom because, she's a woman of the faith. They have the 5 kids, and they're just superhuman, Chad and Gail.
Yeah.
So initially when I saw her, I'm like, oh, she kind of reminds me of Gail. Maybe that was the Chung. Chung is like a Korean word for the endearing thing that maybe I felt when I just first saw her. But I think I found her because I want to say it's because there was a beauty brand that I came across when I was pregnant with Izzy. I was trying to even further minimize and clean up my beauty products. And I remember I came across this one brand. It's called Araza Beauty. They make like paleo skincare. And so I started using that with her, but there was another product from that brand that I was interested in. And because they're like a small business, it's not like a Sephora and Amazon where you can order it and try it out. And if the shade doesn't match, like you can return it or whatever. And so I wanted to look into reviews before I made any purchases from this place. And I think that's how I found her. And she was doing a skincare, like get ready with me with that makeup. And I think she was sharing the story of how she and her husband met, how she met her husband. But just to summarize, her content is really about like mindful living, simplifying things. So she's into minimalism and motherhood. She's got 2 boys and just had her 3rd. So 3 boys. She just had a natural birth for her 3rd, and she recorded that whole thing. I mean, clearly blurred stuff out, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I was in so much pain just watching all of that. But she's just really positive without like being over the top and obnoxious and fake and influencery about it. Like truly, when I watch her, I feel like I think we could be friends. And I think those are the people that I'm so drawn to. Yeah. And it even made me wonder, I'm like, oh, like all those people that have left such lovely comments toward me about, oh, if I met Jen, I feel like we could be friends. I'm like, I wonder if this is what they felt. Because she's someone I would just want to invite onto my couch and would love to pick her brain about what she does as a parent. And, the other big draw too was not only did we like the same makeup products, but she's really into Branch Basics. She's really into keeping her home, like cleaning more with natural based products. And, she's constantly decluttering, and just her mindset about the things that she shares. When you watch her content, you never feel like she's trying to like sell you any one thing, but her newsletters are so good. I feel like she just really encourages you to take a look within, like to look around you and be very like reflective about the things that are going on in your life. And she doesn't make you feel alone about some of the struggles you may be having. And even though she's a minimalist, she's always joking like, yeah, look at my living room. It's a disaster. Like I have 3 young boys. I just cleaned this up and it looks like this, but she's not afraid to show all of that. And she does it in such an effortless way. And I really, really like her. So if you haven't heard of her, you should go and watch all of her videos. They're very calming. I've watched all of her videos, maybe even some of them multiple times. And I'll just have her on sometimes when I'm cleaning, because she's cleaning often. I'm like, I'll just put her in the background and she'll clean with me, and it feels like I have a friend in the room. But yeah, just really easy to listen to. I don't ever feel less than watching her, even though she's so aspirational to me in so many ways. Yeah, so she's a great one.
That's really cool. That's such an interesting balance. And I think it's a balance that you tended to have based on the responses we were getting in YouTube, but it's just hard. This kind of stuff is hard, this journey.
Like, how are you filming this video and editing? You just gave birth. I do know that she has family nearby, because there was one time she did a big decluttering session. I think it's her latest video where she's like, my mom has my 3 boys right now. So it's like, oh, she's going to make herself a smoothie and just like go to town. And she, you know, cleaning alone is a big task, but to like set up a camera and to film it and like change the angles, that's a lot of work. And I'm like, that's so cool, Margaret. Thank you.
That is very cool. And it makes me wonder, what have you picked up about what's driving her to do this?
Well, so one of her videos, she was talking about how she used to just have really low self-esteem and she had a lot of anger issues. You would not know that by watching her videos. And so her husband was a baseball player, not in the major leagues, maybe like in the minor leagues, but they were constantly traveling. I think she said in I could be totally wrong, but it's a crazy number. Where in the few years that they were married, they moved like 15 times or something. Yeah. And every time they have to move, she's just like, oh my gosh, we have so much stuff. Like, I need to simplify my life. I'm always overwhelmed or feeling all these emotions. And then she just decided to declutter. And that like changed her life. And I think along with that, so she got rid of a lot of the clutter. And then I think she went into, you know what, I really want to nourish and fuel my body. So she started focusing on like eating well. And then she likes to spend a lot of time outdoors. Another big thing is she used to be an athlete too. So I think she used to play soccer in college or something. So she would work out a lot. And then she got to a point where she's a mom and she wants to have the energy. Maybe she doesn't necessarily have all the time or the energy to work out. And she didn't want to beat herself up by like making herself work out. So now she's working out, you know, sometimes it's like gentle stretches. But the fact that she's making like even 10, 15 minutes of time every day to just move her body, I'm like, that's really cool. And she's not like, I'm trying to be skinny or this and that. Like, her main goal is, I want to show up the best for my boys.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really cool that she's living that.
What was your question? What is driving her?
Well,
how does she get
I should have been more clear from the beginning. She's living this amazing lifestyle, but what's driving her to share it with people? Because that's a whole nother beast of a thing.
I really think it's her faith. Yeah, she's spoken about God too, about how she just wants to come and like encourage people and to just have them not walk alone.
Interesting.
In this, because she knows what it feels like to have gone there. And yeah, she's just someone where you look at her, even if she never professed her faith, I feel like you could tell like this girl's a believer. And in the words that she chooses and her tone, everything about it, it's just, wow, she's really, you could feel the Holy Spirit from her. Without her shoving Jesus down your face, because those people really turn me off. Yeah. And she does it in a way that's very graceful. I'm like, oh, what is it? What is this peace that you have? It makes you wonder. Yeah. And, you know, even in the mornings, she's had like morning routine videos and evening routine videos. She did share her journaling and having quiet time and reading the Bible and all that. And she reads like devotionals and this and that. So I'm sure that that's what it is. I have no doubt.
Yeah, it's so simple, but it's so powerful because that's clearly evident.
It's very evident.
That's what you're getting from her, is that you're encouraged that you're not alone on this walk. Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. And what's your name again?
Margaret Matheny.
Is that her channel name? Or?
That's her channel name.
Okay, we'll link it.
And that's her full name too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll link it. Yeah, she makes me want to get what does she have? One of those red light therapy things. I'm like, ooh, what's that? I want that. Ooh, raw milk? Yeah, we drink raw milk.
Now.
Yeah. So anyway, she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wait. I refresh my newsfeed hoping that she'll upload a new video. But, you know, she's got 3 little ones. So she's not uploading as... I feel like she used to upload a bit more regularly while she was pregnant with her third. Because her other 2, I forget exactly how old they are, but, you know, they're more independent. And so once she had the baby, my feed has been sad.
It's like when Jen left Instagram, right?
Okay.
Right, everybody?
Your turn.
Yeah, so I struggle with this because I know that a lot of the people that are still probably choosing to watch this, they're mostly from when Jen had a YouTube channel. So like even with Jen, sometimes when I share the things that I'm interested in, she'll, you know, fall asleep or
my eyes glaze over.
Yeah, and just absolutely loses interest. So I do want to share, but I kind of want to share it in a way where I'm hoping that I can transfer some of this information to you in a way that you'll understand it. And maybe you can throw me some questions.
Okay.
If there's anything of interest. If not, I'll wrap it up quickly. Does that sound okay?
I would say, though, I would argue that I feel like there are certain ladies that we love and respect that watch our videos that I feel like are very interested in the things that you have to share. Because they're not necessarily things that I have interest or, have any knowledge about.
That's a good point. So, I mean, that's why I still want to share. I just want to keep it like, if 80% of the people are here to listen to your preferences and what you like, because that's why they found the channel, I want that to be 80% of the content, and mine would be the 20% where hopefully you get a little value. So anyway, so the first person I think I want to bring up his name is Jeff Booth. He's a former entrepreneur. I guess he's still an entrepreneur, but he,
You lost me at entrepreneur.
yeah, he's a tech entrepreneur. So he built this successful company. I won't get into the details because I actually don't know it all that well, but he made a lot of money doing that. And now he wrote a book, and he basically wrote this book. And I love this based on the context of today's conversation and why we're doing this podcast. But he wrote a book because he was noticing things in his entrepreneurial journey, right? And he wrote a book that was like, I want to get to the bottom of this so that my kids have a good future. And he was kind of describing technology and how, he's building all this stuff. And if you think about technology, it makes everything cheaper. It used to cost us almost $100 to get a calculator to help us do math. But if you think about calculators now, it's free everywhere, right? And so there's no cost to that. And that's what technology does. So over time, technology should increase our ability to do things to the point where it's almost free. Like the competition should keep making it so that the cost of the good is basically just what it is to produce it, right? In the case of, calculators, it's nothing because it's just code and information. And we have the hardware. And anyway, I don't want to go too into detail. But the problem is things are getting more expensive. What gives? It's so crazy, and people are feeling the squeeze in terms of buying just your regular stuff. People can't afford homes anymore, and it's like this weird, huge problem. And his conclusion, along with many others that I follow, is that we have a corrupt system of money, right? So, and this is, unfortunately, it's been like the story of humanity. But what's happening is pretend like we're playing Monopoly, right? And we've got 4 or 5 people playing, and you know how Monopoly works, right? You have money that comes with the game board, and then you spin the dice and you go buy up real estate property. And what's happening is that, to make it as simple as I possibly can explain it, you have the banker as well in Monopoly, and what the banker is doing is essentially, instead of just working with the money that was in the game board, they just keep producing more money on the side. And then to make matters worse, they're giving it to the people that already have the most in terms of property, or the people next to him, let's just say, positionally, right? So you can kind of intuit what that does to money. It makes it worth less,
yes.
Right? And that's what's happening. In essence, this banker is, in his act of producing money, he's stealing money from everyone. That's strike number one. And then he's giving it to people who he thinks might do better with it. And so it's this really unfair power that this banker has. And that's at the core of the dollar right now. The dollar is the world reserve currency. And so the Fed, this organization that is somewhat government but somewhat not, is producing more and giving it to who they think, or who we elect into power. And so it just creates this really ugly dynamic. And it's unfortunately the way of the world. Back in the day, it used to be coin clipping. So back in the day, we agreed that gold and silver was money, right? And so in order for people not to counterfeit it, people would stamp the emperor's face, and they'd add these little ridges so that people wouldn't coin clip. But then ultimately, when the power at B gets into trouble, and the money comes back to them, they just remake it. They cut little bits off so that the population doesn't know that this is happening. And ultimately, what they're doing is stealing from the most marginalized people in society. And it's horrible. And I guess what's nice is that there is a solution, that is Bitcoin. And so I really like listening to him, because he's the one that kind of gave me that perspective of hey, technology should be making everything free and cheap, but some of these things are not. And so there's a lot that's layered into that. But whenever he comes on and he shares his understanding of, and this line of reasoning, I'm like, oh wow, he's starting to see a different world. Not only is he putting his finger on the problem, but he's starting to give a perspective of like what the world could be if we were able to have this money that no one in the middle, the bank, we basically cut out the banker, right? And we just kind of have this set of rules and regulations, and what kind of an amazing world that could be. Hopefully that was clear. But that's a guy who whenever what's that meme? It's like, I'm a simple man, I see Jeff Booth, I click, that kind of meme.
Oh, okay.
So that's one.
That's cool. So he's just a YouTuber? I mean, is he an author? Like, no, sorry. You did say he was a tech
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah, he was an entrepreneur, but now what he's doing is, since writing that book, he's like a thought leader. So he does a lot of podcasts and interviews, but he's also like, his main message is, hey, stop. You know, as much as people are like complaining about the Fed and the politics of everything, like if you're doing that, if you recognize the problem and you're doing that, all you're doing is just feeding into the system and playing that game. And what he's encouraging people to do and what he's doing is he believes that Bitcoin is that solution to cut out the middleman, because it's all code. You know, you can't mess with the code based on how it's built. So he's investing in people that are playing the game of building on top of this, what he calls protocol for money, in ways that can help humanity. So I'm also interested in what he's like investing in and stuff. I wish I could get into that side of the world. Unfortunately, I think the way the Bitcoin works right now is that it's so technical, and you kind of almost have to be a coder or like be in the community of coders and all that stuff to get involved. For right now, I'm just keeping tabs on it. And if I do get a chance to somehow be a part of that world, I'd love to do what he encourages, which is to help save the most marginalized people in the world. Any more questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. But did that make sense to you?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you did a good. I would not be able to explain something like that.
Oh man, I don't even know if I did a good job, but I appreciated the opportunity
I
to
also
do so.
think I understood your explanation because I've heard things you've shared in the past in bits and pieces. I think if this was brand new, like you lost me a Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to save that for the end to not throw people off.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions, I'm happy to explain, because in explaining it, I know it better too.
You do like to explain.
Yeah. So
yeah, to be able to distill it for yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully at least the problem is clear, right? And why it's we feel the squeeze, and why this is a horrible thing for our future and our kids, because like if we keep, I mean, this is just empires fall and people die and struggle because of it. So I'm hoping that part is the clearest.
How did you come across this guy?
It's a long story. I mean, it has to do with Bitcoin. Okay. Like I started to learn about what it is. And then in doing that, I just started to go down the rabbit hole of people that I really liked, how they explained the ideas. And then he was one of the ones that stood out. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. Who's your other person?
My other person. Oh, okay. So this is an Instagram account.
Yeah.
Okay. So in full disclosure, my Instagram account is gone, but sometimes I log into Emmys.
I forgot to mention. Yeah.
I log into Emmys to look at like one or two accounts. I don't subscribe to a bunch of people, but this, okay. So the Instagram account is called...
Emmy's going to get a few followers, I think.
It's called Raising Well Kids. Yeah. So I know that she has two accounts. So I think her main one, so her and her family, her husband, and she's got two boys, I believe, two young boys. They are nomads. I think they just travel and work remotely, and they share a lot about that lifestyle. I don't follow that account, but she has a second account, which she's got a ton of followers. I want to say maybe almost 400K or something. So it's a pretty large platform that she has. And that one is called Raising Well Kids. And it's a lot of good information in terms of like how to safely swap out certain products in your home for the well-being of your children. So I don't know how I came across this originally, because I have known about her for a while, but it was cool to see that some of the things that were already in our home were things that she was recommending. Like, for example, she has these, not demographics or I don't know the term for it, but her posts are very clear. Like she has 5 products. Infographics, yes. Maybe. Okay. But they're actual photos, and she has the brands, and she's like, instead of this, try this. So for a long time, like both our girls love ketchup, and Brandon and I, we only want to give them sugar-free ketchup. And we came across the Primal Kitchen brand, which it tastes great. I don't even taste a difference between Heinz and Primal Kitchen.
Well, in fact, I think your brother enjoys it more.
Yes, we got some from my brother and my sister-in-law, and they said they actually like the taste of it better than Heinz.
Yeah, because it's a little more tart.
Right? Yeah. So that's like a good example where she's like, instead of, ditch the sugars and the Heinz and go for this, or instead of these chicken nuggets, swap it out for this. And she does that for personal care products, cleaning products, not just for kids, but she's done that for I just said household products. And also I think she shared some skincare makeup stuff too. She loves Primally Pure, which is a brand that I love for my skincare. It's pretty much all I'm using. She's a huge fan of Branch Basics, Force of Nature, It's really heartwarming to go and be like, oh, these are the products that I use. And yes, I swear by them too. What else do you have to share? And because of her, I came across this brand. We haven't bought anything from them yet, but I'm very intrigued. The brand is called Genexa. I think that's how it's pronounced. But they make clean medicine. So basically, you have your Tylenols and your Benadryls. So they make medicine with the same active ingredients without all the fillers. So no like high fructose corn syrup, dyes, and all this stuff. And recently our kids have had colds, and I thought, man, I really want to get a bottle of their pain reliever one. So basically it's exactly like Tylenol, except it's got like blueberry extract, and there's like 5 ingredients. And I don't think it's like too much more than Tylenol, actually. It might even be around the same price. But I'm like, that is such a good idea. Like with a sick child, why would you even want to give them all this stuff anyway? Like all these additional garbage that they don't need. So that's definitely a brand that she put on my radar. The other brand that she put on my radar that I did purchase from is called Truly Free. And they make cleaning products. So laundry detergents, different cleaners for the house, like glass cleaners, everyday products, bathroom cleaners. They make dishwasher soap and dishwasher cleaner powder, like all of that. Their website is really funky though. She even said it looks like a really bad like 90s infomercial, and it's so laggy. The website is extremely frustrating. But basically they had this whole laundry kit, and recently your eyes just got so...
Horrible website.
Horrible website. I feel like you'd want to fix it. It's so bad. Anyway, it does read like an as seen on TV. Like there were people that she's like shared screenshots of people that are like, oh, I tried out this brand because of you, but man, their website is so bad. Yeah. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And I go and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like only 5 left. Hurry before it sells out. And you know how they try to like scare you into purchasing something? Like back in the day, the as seen on TV stuff, there's only, you have 15 minutes until this deal runs out. They do all of that. Yeah.
That I have less problem with, but when you say it's laggy and performs
it's poorly, laggy. I'm like clicking stuff and things aren't loading. I'm refreshing. It times out. Anyway, this brand, they've got a ton of laundry stuff. And actually last episode, we talked about Branch Basics. It's like, it comes with this one concentrate, and with that concentrate, you can make a ton of different cleaners, and it's a multi-purpose cleaning product for your home. And while I do use it as a laundry detergent, because it's not scented, I don't use it on our clothes because maybe it's just me, but I hate the smell of outside. Like it smells like wet dog. In Korean, there's a term, it's like 바람 냄새 or something like that. It's like the smell of the wind or breeze. But once my kids go outside for 5 minutes and they come in and I've been indoors, they just have this smell on their clothes and their skin. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
So I don't like to use unscented detergent on our clothes, but I'll use it for like bedding and towels and all that. Well, I was very intrigued about like the reviews I heard about how well this brand Truly Free cleans, but it's also scented, and it's like a mixture of essential oil. So it's not a ton of like, something listed as fragrance and you don't actually know what that's comprised of. So they have all these products, and there was a promo where it's like, it's $20 and you get the whole kit and you can try it out. And I think they also have a money back guarantee. And I'm like, $20? I would definitely try it for $20. And there was one product in there called the Stain Stick that she used. And because her and her family, they're traveling all the time, they don't have a laundry machine. Like I'm sure they're constantly in like Airbnbs and different forms of housing. So they have to drop off their clothes at a local laundromat. And they also drop it off with a bottle of Truly Free. And when they get it back, sometimes they're also really fit. So they wash a lot of workout gear. And she showed this one white sports bra that she had. And she was like, look, I have all these like suspicious weird stains on it. And then she took out this little bar of soap. It's like a really thin bar, not thin, okay. It's not as chunky as a regular bar. It's probably like a third of it. And she just started erasing her white bra. And these weird stains just started coming off. And she was like, it's like a magic eraser. I'm like, what is that?
Whoa.
So then I saw that, and I saw her talking about this detergent and the fact that it's scented and it's supposed to smell really fresh and all that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this bundle, this $20 promo. And if it's horrible, then I can contact them and whatever. So yesterday, we got the package and I decided to do a load of laundry. And Emmy has this one Nike windbreaker jacket that's so cute. It's like turquoise and pastel purple, and it's such a toddler jacket. The colors, it's very cute on her, but unfortunately she's outgrown it. So now I wanted to wash it and put it away to save for Izzy for the springtime. And I don't know how Emmy got this dirty, but her one sleeve had all these stains. It must have been like paint or some kind of marker. I've tried everything to get it out. Usually Branch Basics takes most stains out for me, or Dawn if it's like super greasy. Nothing was working. And I was like, oh, I was just going to accept my fate and like, I'm like weird about my stains on my kids' clothes. I like to really keep them pristine. I have a whole routine for it. But I was just going to ignore it. But I just decided to pull out that jacket. And this stain has been there for months and months and months. So it's like really set in, right? So I pulled out this stain stick that I got in my kit, and I wet the spot, I wet the soap and the bar of soap, and I just started scrubbing, and it started coming off. And I remember I like got goosebumps, like not even being dramatic. I'm like, is this really happening right now? And I was upstairs by myself in the laundry room. Brandon's probably not going to care about this, but I came down like, I have something exciting to share with you. First of all, and I explained to him, he's like, I don't even know what jacket you're talking about. I'm like, you remember those stains? They were all over her sleeve and like you couldn't ignore it. And he's like, uh-huh. Like he totally, like whatever. But I was like, this is amazing. And the fact that it's a natural product. The founder of this company, he's a dad, and I think he came up with it because his son had a bunch of like eczema and certain skin sensitivities, which I have as well. And Izzy is definitely very sensitive skin prone, more so than you and Emmy. And I think he might have come up with this company during COVID, or COVID is related to it. It's either this brand started around COVID, or he was sharing how a lot of other, like if you buy Tide or Gain or all the store-bought stuff, you would have to actually go out and get it. And when he formulated this, you get like an empty jug, you fill it mostly with water, and you put this powder in and you shake it up. And so you never have to go to the store. He was able to, you just get it mailed to your house, and you just open up these packets and you make your own detergent. And it's supposed to do, I think like 50 loads per bottle or something like that. Anyway, this is very long-winded, as it always is with me when I get excited about products, mainly cleaning products and skincare and makeup. Yo, I did 3 loads of laundry so far, and the clothes smell so good. Like it smells like if you would have washed it with any conventional drugstore laundry. Yeah. And because I'm so crazy about spot treating everything anyway, I mean, I pulled out all the clothes and everything looks great. I don't know how it would perform if I just chucked in like a shirt without any stain removal. So I don't know about that. But so far, I'm very impressed. And the fact that you get one jug, you don't have to keep lugging heavy jugs every time you buy detergent. You can do a subscription model, and they send you little packets of powder and you just mix it in with water every time you make a load. I also ordered they also had another promo kit for kitchen stuff. So this is like a powder that's supposed to remove all the funk and smells and really deep clean your dishwasher. They've got a dishwashing soap and a few other things. Anyway, that kit's not here yet, but I'm so excited to try that out. I love the ease of using products that actually work but are more cleanly formulated. I've got terribly dry skin to the point where my knuckles start cracking and bleeding from like just washing my hands a lot in the cold weather. So anything I can do to protect my skin, but also have something that works really well, like that really excites me. So I will have to report back on the kitchen truly free products. But man, I'm so impressed by... Sorry, I'm just going on and on about this detergent. I'm like, how did I get here? Yes, because of the account Raising Well Kids that I secretly signed into Emmy's account to go view. Check her out. she's wonderful. And I feel like she shares in a way without it being too salesy or like buy this, but I'm wanting to shop through her links. I want to give her, I want to buy through her affiliate stuff and just everything that she shares. It seems like it's coming from a mom who's trying to do her best. Another mom that I absolutely look up to. So.
That was great. The fans will be pleased.
Go down. I'm like, how did I end up here? Oh my gosh. Go back to the original one. Yeah, so she's got a ton of stuff for.
Don't apologize for that.
That's what I was trying to refrain from apologizing, because I do feel like me sharing this is valuable, because if I came across this kind of content, I would be very stoked, right? So it is very helpful, especially I know these days, like when it comes to our kids too, right? And skin sensitivities of what they're putting in their bodies, on their bodies, that's really important. And if I can find like an alternative that works just as well and it's better for their health, I would want to scream it from the rooftops. And why wouldn't you? Yeah. I feel like I've used a lot of natural stuff that don't work, and it's just super disappointing. And we end up going back to the Tides or the Dawns or whatever. Yeah. So I'm not apologizing, but I am sorry if I went a little, like if I lost anyone. Yeah. Not for what I shared, but
to be honest, you lost me.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, you're like Jeff Booth, Bitcoin, Monopoly.
Monopoly.
I'm like, Monopoly, right? I'm like, but you still continue to explain Monopoly. I'm like, it's okay, babe. You go and you explain it. No, I'm glad you did though. Yeah. Just poking fun.
I guess everybody knows how Monopoly works. I've only played it like once or twice. So
oh, really?
I didn't play that much Monopoly.
What? That was like the one board game we had for so long growing up. So for me,
I just remember it being so boring.
It is a long game.
Yeah. Anyways.
I was really into the little miniature pieces.
Oh, yeah, those were cool. I've seen Monopoly all the time. So, I mean, that alone should have stopped me. But anyway. Okay, so I think it's funny that you say that. And I say don't apologize, because there's nothing to apologize for. But I guess what I wanted to say was, we were talking about, I want to do this podcast for the kids and for everyone. But the other part of it that I didn't mention is we've talked about this, but I want you to do that. I mean, you're naturally like this. Like when, you coming down the stairs and wanting to share this magic with me with laundry. I don't care. You would think
I came down to tell Brandon I was pregnant.
Yeah. What?
It's like, it was that kind of excitement that I'm like, I have something exciting to do.
That's true. But I didn't react like, in a negative way.
I love those things that like you can't solve, even though you did everything you could, and then you finally solve it, and it's so satisfying. Sure. And I need to just share it.
Yes.
Even if it's not going to hit the same. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for always being my landing space.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm not the only one that wants to hear you come alive like that. And that's another reason why I want to do this podcast, because whenever you're around family sharing this stuff, it's like they buy it, and they're...
Can I buy it for you?
Yeah, thoroughly entertained by it. And it is helpful. And I'm glad that help that you want to give, and the reason you want to shout it from the rooftops is because it's so good. So good. Yeah, I want to capture that for everyone, but also for us. Anyway, so we don't have much time. I'm going to just say that the second person for me along the lines of Bitcoin, but also a good segue, is his name is Michael Saylor. He's also very successful.
Just kidding.
You punk.
Did you believe me for a second?
Yeah, for a hot second. Hot nanosecond. Okay. Yeah, so he's a successful business owner, and he's interesting in that if you want to learn about Bitcoin and why it's important, but he's explaining it from like a deeper level of why, money, like what money is. And he's an engineer. He went to MIT, and his mission, what drives him is like, he thinks that he can engineer a better future, right? So that's what drives him. And so he's got this really first principles understanding of how things work. And so he's able to explain, like ladder into the importance of how Bitcoin works, why it's important, but also what's really nice about him is that he can then apply that to the future, like going forward. So he himself has invested heavily into it. So he puts his money where his mouth is. And then he can also give you a very sound reason for why, what value and how it can impact the world in a different way than Jeff Booth. So,
I feel like you get a fuller picture listening to the two of them.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Together, it's like you can kind of have like a very good understanding of how all this works.
Sorry, I was not laughing at you. I was just laughing about how we couldn't be more different in terms of, I went on for like 25 minutes talking about laundry detergent and stains.
Yeah. 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 Have a great week. And
thanks for listening.
Didn't you say there was a promo?
Oh, yes. If I can find that promo that's still going on, the $20 laundry bundle from Truly Free, I'll link it below. Yeah. I don't know if it's expired. I hope not.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.